Hi everyone, Dr. Adrienne Castrovinci with Healthy Living Chiropractic, coming to you live on this first Thursday of March. So it is a new month, and in our office we get pretty excited about March because it is time for Arch Madness. So Arch Madness, while everybody loves basketball, I'm not a huge basketball fan, but what I am a fan of is a healthy body and healthy feet. So Arch Madness, as we're discussing the arches of the foot and kind of how the health of the foot can inhibit or can cause health problems with the rest of the spine and the body. So that's what we're going to be discussing today. We're going to discuss kind of the role they play in spinal health. We're going to discuss some of the most common ailments that we can see in our office as a result of poor foot health. And then we can talk about a tool that we have in our office to help evaluate the feet and what types of things we do to help our patients feel better and function better and have good, healthy feet as they walk throughout life. So, all right. So the feet are basically your base, right? They are your foundation. If your foundation is off, it can affect everything kind of up the chain. So you've got your feet, you've also got the knees. You then have the hips, the lower back or the spine in general, and then the neck and the cervical spine. So kind of all of these things work together in tandem. When there's a problem with one, it can definitely affect the others. So starting with the feet and their main importance is that there are arches. Most people think of the middle part of the arch, which is the medial arch. I'm going to grab my little foot. Okay, so here's your foot, right? The medial arch is the foot the arch that's on like the inside when everyone refers to their arch. That's this middle arch here, or this medial arch. There's also two other arches that many of you are not aware of. There's the lateral arch, which kind of goes under the foot on the outside of the foot, and there's what's called the transverse arch that goes across the bottom of the foot, kind of getting to the tops of the toes, or the bases of the toes, excuse me. So those three arches all work in tandem to help to create the vault of the foot. When everything is stabilized nicely, you're going to have this nice, good, proper alignment. What can happen over time and kind of with gravity, is that the foot can start to fall, or your arches, if you look at my hand is like an arch, the arches start to fall. And when that happens, the body pronates, or the foot pronates, kind of turning inward, okay? So when that happens, that can affect everything, like I mentioned, up the chain. If the foot turns in, it can cause the knee to turn in. It can cause the hip to kind of turn in more so. And that can also translate all the way up the back. So what we want to do is help to stabilize the foot, make sure that those arches are intact, and that can allow the person to feel better and function better as they walk throughout their day. So the main things that we can see kind of in our office that are results of there being poor arch height is plantar fasciitis. Plantar fasciitis is when basically the plantar, bottom of the foot, fascia, so that's kind of the connective tissue that runs along the bottom, gets inflamed. So oftentimes patients will experience heel pain. They'll causing abnormal stress on that knee. Another thing that we'll see is low back pain. And while low back pain is one of the most common things, I think they say it's the number 2 reason why people go to the doctor. There's a ton of different causes, but one of them is definitely poor foot health. So when the feet are turning in, the pelvis becomes unlevel, and that can create pain, discomfort, you name it, muscle weakness, all of those things can lead to low back pain. So those are the 3 important things, the most common things, that we see in our practice that can be tied right back to foot health. So if you or anyone you know that's experiencing any of those things, continue to listen. So the next thing I want to talk about is one tool that we have in our office that can help evaluate that the health of the foot, and it's called the Insight scanner, not the Insight, excuse me. It's the Foot Levelers optical scanner. So Foot Levelers is a company that a lot of chiropractors and other foot health professionals use that design and create custom foot orthotics or stabilizers for the feet. So the scanner that we have in our office takes 16 different measurements. You actually stand on top of the scanner. It takes 16 measurements of the bottom of the foot, kind of how the foot is being placed on kind of when you're standing, and it measures exactly that level of pronation. What Foot Levelers comes up with is called a pronation stability index, and it's a number that when that number is higher, it indicates that there is less stability. So the higher the number, the worse off it is, right? And so it can evaluate what that number is, kind of showing if any of those three or all of those three arches that I referenced previously, if they've all started to fall, that can mean that the foot is pronating quite a bit, which can lead to a lot of problems. So I'm going to go through my scan. So we can do this in the office, like I mentioned. And then what happens is we get a nice little printout or a nice scan to show the patient, which will illustrate what types of things they could be experiencing. So this is mine. So your ideal foot, this is not mine, the ideal foot. So when you're standing, you should be putting the amount of pressure should go primarily on the heel, on the balls of the foot, and on the toes. That's where a majority of the weight distribution should be in a healthy foot. According to Foot Leveler's website, about 1% of patients actually have this optimal foot. I've been doing this, I think I've had these in my office for probably 15 years. I've seen one patient that has had this optimal foot, so it's not very common. Well, this is mine, so not very optimal, right? Definitely you see that outer edge or that outer arch, that lateral arch has not been maintained, it's fallen. Also, this transverse arch along the middle has also fallen too. You no longer see that little round area there. My medial arch is still intact. However, the problem with my arch is that they're uneven. So these bars here are indicating the arch height. As you see here, my left foot is a lot lower than my right foot, so they are off balance. What that does then, if you look at this next picture here, it illustrates how my left foot turns in. When my left foot turns in, it puts an abnormal amount of pressure on my left shin and knee, which then causes my left hip to drop. And also, if you look even farther up the body, it makes my right shoulder drop. I actually was just evaluated by my physical therapist who I'm working with yet on Tuesday, and she said, "Oh, do you know your right shoulder's lower?" I'm like, "Yes, I do." So, here's why. So this is me, this is mine. When I was in high school and junior high, I had really terrible shin splints. I used to run track. I ended up quitting track, and I decided at that time I hated running because it hurt. It hurt my legs, it hurt my feet. So about, 15, 20 years ago, I started using custom orthotics, and lo and behold, all my shin pain went away. And many of you know that I'm working on doing a pretty significant goal for running 500 miles this year. So yay, orthotics. So back to this. My pronation stability index is 90. I think it says orthotics are required. Yes, they are required. And I have them. So this is basically the printout that will happen when you get a scan in our office. What this then, if you are interested in pursuing a custom orthotic, the company will then make an orthotic or a foot insert that actually goes into your shoe, kind of helps to stabilize all three of the arches like it says there. Put those inside the shoe, and then you've got that stability. It's holding that plantar vault as well and helps to stabilize the foot. So we have scans in our office. When we realize that if a patient needs an orthotic, we'll get them an orthotic. I also do a lot of work on extremities, so I love to work on feet. I love to adjust the feet. I love to adjust the ankles, make sure that everything's moving well. If people are dealing with any of those three things that I mentioned earlier, we help to address them directly, and our patients do feel so much better. So, special offer this month, because we're celebrating Arch Madness, we are offering free scans. So, normally we charge $50 for this scan. This month they're going to be free. So you can come in during our office hours. You don't even need an appointment. One of our interns or myself will go ahead and do a scan, evaluate your scan, and then talk about if there's something that you need in order to help to stabilize them. We are also giving a discount on custom orthotics. We're offering $20 off per pair, which is pretty awesome. If you order 2 or more, there are additional discounts on top of that. So if you are curious about that, just let me know. But really, more than anything, we want to help our patients to live healthy, happy lives. We want your feet to be good. If you are interested, or if you're dealing with any of those foot pain, knee pain, low back pain, and you want to get a scan, send me a message down below, reach out to our office, and come on in during our business hours, and we'd love to help you. So I hope you all have a great day. Happy March, and we'll talk soon. Bye.